So some of these things, I'll let you know if I think it's something that you want to put out right away or if you want to put out later in the year. But whatever you put in your centers in the very beginning of the year needs to be highly engaging. Like I kind of call them hooks, right? They have to hook the kids into wanting to play with them. We can't convince the kids to play with them. We have to get the kids to want to play there. And once they want to go there to that center, then we can start changing out the materials. But in the very, very beginning, we want them to want to come to school, and we want them to want to learn, and we want them to love learning. So the way we do that is by putting some really fun and engaging things in our alphabet center. You might call it something else. Literacy center, you might call it an ABC center. There are so many different things to call it, and that's okay. The most important thing is that it's a literacy experience. And also you can combine your centers. A lot of people say, well, I have to have this kind of, this number of centers and I have to have it this way or that way, but you can put anything in your literacy center that supports literacy. So that's a pretty wide category, right? You could have books in there. As you can see, I have books behind me. We have books in every center, right? You can have storytelling, you can have puppets, all of these things play into literacy. So it doesn't matter which curriculum or program you have. These are all things you can use in your classroom regardless of what the labels are put on the centers. So let me see. I'm going to start off with, of course, everyone's favorite. Now, Tom has some links for you. Tom will drop a link to my ABC Center blog post at PreK Pages, and it kind of has, if you're more of the kind of person who likes to save pins, things like that, so that you can reference them later, because goodness knows it's not easy to find a Facebook Live once it's over. So if you would like to go ahead and do that, Tom will drop a link to the ABC Center post for you below, and that has a lot of the pictures of the things that you're going to see. It has links to the printables you're going to see, the freebies, and it has all the information that I'm going to talk about tonight is in that blog post. So that's the first thing he has for you. The next thing I wanted to tell you is that some of the things I will show you tonight here on this Facebook Live broadcast can be found in my Amazon store, but not all. I'm very picky about what I put in my alphabet center, so some of these things are not easily found on Amazon. So the first thing I'm going to show you that I'm sure a lot of you have, let me know if you have Alphabots in your classroom by tapping the screen in some way. These are so super hot. You cannot go wrong with Alphabots. Like seriously, it's like a drug to little kids. So what they are is they're like Transformers, only they're for letters of the alphabet, right? And I am actually not very good at these. The kids, okay, now I'm going to prove to you that I'm not very good at it, because I can't even get a little, I can't even play with Alphabots. That's how old I am. So see how he comes apart. And the kids automatically know that, oh yeah, I can do that with that. And yeah, they totally love it. So they're like Transformers, only they are letters. What's wrong? Oh, he's gonna do an Alphabot for me. Yes, I'm not the most skilled Alphabot person in the world. I had it open a second ago. It just took me a minute. He's probably going to ask me why I didn't tell him about these sooner, right? So they're like Transformers. So now I might find Tom in my office or my classroom here playing with the Alphabots. Now I can't get it back together. Okay, so Alphabots, greatest thing in the early childhood world since sliced bread. So if you have Alphabots in your classroom, let me know by tapping the screen or commenting below, and let me know if your kids like them. So many teachers around the U.S. have told me that their kids just love these. I think I put them in my Amazon shop, but Lakeshore Learning are the company that makes these. So if you'd prefer to buy them there, go ahead. It's no big deal. But that's where you can buy them. You've never heard of them, Judy. Oh my gosh, you have to check them out. The alpha numbers, I have those too. Yeah, you can see what they look like on Amazon. You can check them out. If you're going to want to stock an Alphabet Center and you're a teacher in a federally funded or public program, then you can go ahead and write like a grant for all the things, because these are not like a dollar store item. These are a little bit pricier, but well worth the money for the type of engagement that you get out of your students. Oh, Becky, you're in for a treat. Kara says the kids love them. Yes. Alpha bots. Alpha like alphabet, and then instead of bet, it's bot, alpha bot. But if you go to Lakeshore Learning, you can look them up there, or there's a link in my Amazon shop. So, hey, Cindy. Yes, Ashley, your kids will love them, believe me. So all the letters of the alphabet are in here. Obviously, otherwise they wouldn't be called alphabots. They would be called something else. But the one thing I would recommend is at the beginning of the year that you don't put them all out at once, because actually I have a tub full of these, and I'm what we call alphabet challenged. Now I'm on a mission. Okay. So here, I'm taking him apart. The tub is quite full and it is quite heavy. And so I would think only putting out some at the beginning of the year would probably be your best bet, and slowly put out more. Of course, the kids will probably fight over their first letter if you have kids with multiple similar first letters. Another thing is that all of my tubs are labeled. So I have a label here. I've put them in the little vinyl pocket label thingies, label holders from the Target Dollar Spot this summer, and the labels fit right in there. If you don't already have my set of free printable labels, then you're going to want to go to our free Facebook group, Preschool Teachers Are Superheroes, and you're going to want to download those because that's where they live. So yeah. Hey, Frankia, I'm sorry. Yes, your son would love them. Okay, so the next thing I have, again, I don't work for Lakeshore. I swear I don't work for Lakeshore, but this next one, again, another Lakeshore item that my kids love. So the beginning of the year, Alphabots, it's a surefire home, it's a hit, home run with your kids. Letter builders from Lakeshore are another one. Now you might have these under a different name. You can get them at various places, but I like these because they come with the building mats and the pieces. So they're wood pieces, right? The kids can take a mat and then they can build that letter with the little pieces. See, well, I'm on the backwards cam, so I can't see very well, but so they take the little pieces, they put these on the table or the floor, and then they build the letters. So letter builders. I like these because they're three-dimensional. Kids are feeling the shape, so they know the curvy and the straight. You can start introducing those terms to them, so they can, when they start actually learning letters and manipulating magnetic letters and so forth, they will start to internalize that shape of the letter. So these are called letter builders, and they are also from Lakeshore. This set's a couple years old, so they might look different now. They come out with different versions of things all the time. Renee says, I have the letter builders. I've had the letter builders for a few years. It never gets old. I know. They love these all year long. In the beginning, they just want to build the first letter of their name, and then they start building the first letter of their friends' names, and then eventually they start building their whole name. And yeah. Yes. Oh, thank you. Katina says she loves the labels. So letter builders and alphabots so far. Those are some of my or I should say not mine, but the kids' absolute favorite. And I'm putting these back on the shelf as I talk because I have them all laid out in front of me. The next thing, and again, going on that whole, we want to get kids to love learning, to love coming to school, to be excited about learning, to be motivated and engaged. And we do that through hands-on activities. So I had the alphabets so far and the letter builders. The next one, and this is always one that I do the first week of school because I've never had a kid not like this. You get a bunch of I got these little cars from the party section at Walmart. Okay. And they, like, I guess they're used as prizes in party bags or treat bags or something. And I just wrote on the top of each vehicle with a Sharpie, right? So see, they're these little cheap cars. Now you can source cars from anywhere. If you have your own kiddos of your own, you might want to sneak into their bedroom while they're sleeping and steal some cars. You can find them at garage sales, however you want to do it. But I have all these little cars, and if they have a top on them, you know, like a roof where you can't write letters. So on this one, it's like a race car. So I wrote the letter like on the hood of the car. And if you have one that, you know, here's another race car, and this one's hood wasn't very big, but the back was, but you can also put a little whiteout on the top of the car so that you can write with your Sharpie on there. So I have these cars that have letters on top. What do I do with them? So I have this free set. So Tom has the link to this free set of alphabet mats. And so the kids take a mat and they find the car that has the matching letter, and they drive the car on top of the letter. And they absolutely will pretend this is the letter C because I don't want to search for it. And they drive the car on top of the letter. So they put this on the floor in front of them or the table in front of them, so it's flat, and then they drive the car over the top. And I have one for each letter of the alphabet. I have them in smaller size, so if you don't want to use a whole sheet of cardstock, they're best printed on cardstock. They do take a lot of ink. You can do that. And of course, you could always make your own with a Sharpie if you prefer. But these are free. This is a freebie in my store. Hi. Yes, the cars are awesome. So it is a little investment up front. I mean, the cars were cheap. They were from Walmart. I got a couple of bags of them. So I probably spent, I don't know, $5 total. And then I printed the mats. And if you have instant ink, of course, you don't have to worry about the cost of the ink. But every year they love these. And so but they will fight over the first letter of their name, because typically in pre-K, that's one of the only letters that they know when they come in is the first letter of their name, or that they recognize. So as they learn more letters, they'll start to branch out. So what I try to do is to have, first of all, I introduce it to them and I explain that we have to share and that many of us have the same first letter, and I'll give examples. And so that will help some of them. Others will still fight. So you might want to have duplicates if you know that you have two students whose names start with M, and those two students cannot understand the concept that they share the first same letter of their name, then I would get 2 letter M mats just to avoid that in the very beginning of the year. Now, as the year goes on and as they mature and they learn and they grow, then you can move on. So yeah, so cars are awesome. So far we've talked about alphabets and letter builders, and now cars on the little roads. Well, they're not little, but these are a free printable. So you're going to want to grab that. Some folks like to do a green sticker where the kids should start driving the car, and a red sticker where they should stop, so that they're not driving the car in the wrong direction, because you do want to make sure and reinforce proper letter formation right from the start. And so I took a picture of those. And this is in my label set that's in our free Facebook group. And those are editable as well. So if you teach in another language and you need to edit those to reflect your language, you can do that. And they're free in our Facebook group. Let's see, this goes here. Do you like how I'm cleaning up as I go? Okay, hold on. All right, and then the next one, I'm saving some of the best ones for last. I haven't even got to the best ones yet. I just love this center. So Wiki Sticks. If you've never heard of Wiki Sticks, I love them because they're wax strings, right? So nothing fancy, okay? But they come in lots of different colors. My kids like the neon ones. And you can get some, I just printed these bubble letters in a Word doc. I just printed them really large, and now I have little mats that the kids can put the Wiki Sticks on. So this is a Wiki Stick. It is a wax string, right? They come in many different colors, and the kids just twist them and turn them and shape them into onto the letter mats, right? So they love, love, love this. They love choosing the colors of the wiki sticks they're going to use. They love finding their first letter of their name, their friends' names, all that great stuff. And so I have a whole tub of these wiki sticks, and then we have the letter building mats, and they can make the letters in there. So this is the ultimate hands-on, because that's definitely tactile learning. I mean, they're touching and feeling the shapes of the letters and internalizing that shape. And that's what we want, especially in the beginning of the year. And they just love these. So I just have a whole set of these out, laminated. I don't show laminated things on the screen for you all because it glares, and I hate glare. So the ones I give the kids would be laminated. But wiki sticks, I have lots. They had them in the Target dollar spot this summer, and so I have some of those too. But I also have a lot of the neon colors as well. My kids were really attracted to the neon ones. And of course, then we have a label on the tub, and there's a matching label on the shelf. So the kids are practicing matching when they clean up. It facilitates your cleanup, and it makes it quick and easy, right? That's what we want. We want our cleanup to be quick and easy so that it doesn't, ooh. I forgot that I had the camera stand held up by one of these tubs, and I just moved the tubs. I'll have to just tell you about that last one, because if I move it, the camera will fall. The next one is Puppy Chow, and these are my dog bowls from the dollar store. I just got some dog bowls. This one's from Target. I keep the labels on everything so I know where it came from, so when people ask me, I can tell them. This one I know came from, I think that came from Target. Okay, so I have some dog bowls. I just have enough for a small group of children, because I don't do anything, usually not many whole group activities in pre-K. And then I have this dog biscuit box. So grab yourself a box of dog biscuits, and I emptied out the box by feeding my dog the treats. If you don't have a dog, find a friend who has a dog. Ask them if they eat treats, and if they will give you a box from those treats the next time they get them. And then I packing taped this up. It is completely covered in packing tape. It has been around for many years, and it's still going strong. Inside the box, I have magnetic letters, right? Yay, magnetic letters. So inside the box are magnetic letters, and all the students have to do, and sometimes I do this part for them in the beginning of the year, is I pour from the box some letters into a bowl, right? So I have the dog bowl. Do you see it? It has magnetic letters in it. And then I have a little puppy. You can get any puppy you want from anywhere, something small, and I have a magnet glued on his nose, okay? And Tom has a link to this whole thing, this whole Puppy Chow thing, so that you can go to the post and read it, reference it later if you want to come back to it, pin it if you want to pin it, so you don't have to worry about remembering all of this. But I even tell you about the glue that I use. But now watch what the puppy does. You just ate a letter, right? Yeah, he ate a letter. And so now, in this idea about the dogs and the magnets on the nose and the bowl and the letters is from Dr. Jean. But what I noticed is that my children love this activity. They would do anything to do this activity pretty much all year long. But what they did was this. Because that's what dogs do. So I needed to get them motivated to pick up a letter and look at it, identify it, use their visual discrimination skills. And so I created a little free printable where they can take the letter, they look at it, they find it on their sheet, and they stamp it with a bingo dauber. You could put it in a page protector, and they could use bingo chips or cubes, and it would be the same thing. It's visual discrimination. So it is a very fun game. So you want to talk about fun and engaging. This is one I introduced the first week of school, and then I keep it out all year. Of course, I'm not going to just do it that first week. I'm going to do it several times the first month of school with the children. Then I'm going to put it out in my literacy or ABC or alphabet set or whatever you want to call it for independent practice. So I never just stick all this stuff on the shelf and let them have at it, because that's just an accident waiting to happen or inviting trouble. So I'm always going to introduce these things to the children, play with these activities in small group, and then reinforce and continue, especially in the beginning of the year. I'll do these activities in small group for a whole month, and change them out every couple of days with my groups, but they need that repetition, they need that practice, so that I can then put it out on the shelf and say, you know what, you guys have been doing such a good job with the puppy chow game, and you've learned how to pour the letters into the bowl and how to use your dogs and how to look for the letters on the paper, that I'm going to put this on the shelf now. So during center time, you can play this game, and I'm going to put it right here where this label is. So I show them this label, and then I put it on the shelf. And during center time, they can go there and they can play with it. Okay, so that was Puppy Chow. We have a link to that blog post for you, so you don't have to worry about remembering all the steps or all the different things. We talked about, here is the Chicka Chicka Boom Boom tree. A lot of you have seen the video on Facebook. It's kind of big. This one is my original tree. It's very old. You can see it's wrinkled. It's sat in the heat for many years. I have two others that I switch out and travel with. They're smaller than this, but these are 2 coffee cans taped together, and all of the directions are in the blog post. They're 2 coffee cans taped together with packing tape, and then I covered it with wood grain contact paper from Dollar General or Walmart or wherever. Dollar Tree, I think, even has it now. And it is magnetic because these are metal cans. You don't have to use coffee cans. You can use whatever metal cans you can find, right? And now you read the story of Chicka Chicka Boom Boom. I always read that story the first week of school. And then we retell the story with the magnetic tree. In the top, this is a fake plant from the dollar store or from Michael's or Hobby Lobby or something. So it looks like a palm tree, but we retell the story, and the children come up and they put the magnets on the tree as I read the story. And oh my goodness, do they love it? They love holding on to their letter until they see it in the story. So their attention is really held, because they're like, oh, is my letter next? Is my letter next? And you can really tell the kids who've had prior exposure to the alphabet, because some of them will know, oh, I have the letter F, and she just did the letter E. Oh, I'm next. You know, you can tell. It's a really great, quick, informal assessment, and the kids absolutely love it. Once we do this together as a whole group, this is one of the few literacy activities I'll do whole group, then we'll start doing it together in a small group, using the book to support the retelling, and then eventually I will put it out. This one's pretty simple. There aren't a lot of steps to it. I will put it out for independent practice in the Literacy Center. I keep this out all year. In the beginning of the year, they just look for their first letter and put it on. That's not a rule I instituted. It's just that's what they do. And then they'll start putting their friends' first letters on there. Then they'll start spelling their names, and it just goes on from there. I've had kids spell familiar words on there like mom and love. They absolutely love this, and it's so cheap and easy to make. But there's an entire blog post on how to, step by step, how to do it. So I'm going to stick this over here. It just lives in my ABC Center all year long with a copy of the book. You can see I have the book right behind me. What else? So those are probably my top ones that I would have out in the beginning of the year. Oh, I found a new one. You guys are not going to like me for this. So this is brand new. I just got these last week. I have seen a lot of folks make their own letter rocks, and I think that is awesome. But I was having trouble finding rocks that were flat enough for me to write on without my writing looking really wonky. So I was at the teacher store, and I had a coupon, and these were on sale. Check it out. They're called Letter Pebbles. And I was like, oh, wait till I show these to my Facebook friends, right? They're going to love these. Well, then I found out the sad reality is that they're not they're sold in the UK, and they're really hard to get here in the States. I just happened to be at the teacher store that carried them, and that they were on sale, and I had a coupon. But I have Googled my brains out. If you can find a US distributor that sells these for less than $30, let me know. But I think it's ridiculous to pay $30 for a set of 26 rocks. So that's not what I paid. But for me, I did view it as an investment because I didn't want to spend the time looking for 26 flat rocks. And also I need another. The other thing is that they don't sell the lowercase set in the States because the manufacturer is in Great Britain, and they use Danielian on those. So they don't even sell those in the States. So yeah, these are awesome. I was at US Toy, which is kind of, they usually just have basic stuff, but this was on some clearance shelf. They were having a big sale. I had a coupon, and I was like, yeehaw. I cannot find them on their website. I did everything I could to find a link for you guys that was sold in the US. I could not find these online anywhere that were sold in the US. They're all out of Britain, Great Britain, and I love them. And the idea that they had in the instruction manual that I loved was to get yourself a little tray, right? Like one of those wooden trays, those Melissa and Doug wood trays with some sand in it, and the kids can lay the pebbles in the sand. And they're nice and flat, and oh my goodness, it works so well. See, I took a picture of it when they were in the sand. So these will be in my updated version of the center labels very soon. But I was like, I'm going to buy these, but my Facebook friends are not going to be happy that they cannot find these. So you might want to look at your local teacher store if you still have one. But I was not able to source these anywhere online. I just happened to be at the store, and they had them, and it just was one of those deals. I know, $30, right? Yeah, it's easier to make your own. I did not pay $30. I would not pay $30 for 26 rocks. That sounds like when Jack sold the cow for the magic beans. If only these were magic rocks, right? Another thing, we have letter tiles. So in the beginning of the year, just they're simple name cards, and they can use the letter tiles. Now these are cheap and inexpensive. I can't remember if I put them in my Amazon shop or not, but Walmart often has them in the quote unquote teacher section. As the case may be. But yeah, they have these letter tiles, and they have them on upper and lower, and these are great for matching to their names and their name cards. I actually used to send these home in their little name kits. Each child had a little zipper pouch, and they would have their name card inside and then matching letter tiles. And because they're very inexpensive, every time they lost a letter, I would restock them. I had lots of these. I know, it's more than $1 a rock, Di. It's crazy. Maybe they're magic rocks. What do I know? Okay, I have a fishing game. I'll just take out one of the fishing poles since it's holding up my camera. But these are also from Lakeshore. Now, I have made my own fishing poles for many years out of a dowel, some string, some hot glue, and a magnet. They're wonderful. These are pretty cool. They love these. They have a weight right here. So the other ones, they tend to not have much weight on them, so they kind of treat them more like a magic wand. This one has a weight that I like the way that it feels when the kids are, and that's a magnet on the end there. You can't really see it. It's safe. It's encapsulated. That's another thing. A lot of folks can't use just the little button magnet, so this is safe. It's not a choking hazard. And then there's these little sea creatures here, and they can fish for them. Now, just fishing for magnetic letters, I actually think is better than fishing for these sea creatures, because these sea creatures are not in the shape of a letter. They're a shape with a letter written on it. I prefer that the children would fish just for magnetic letters, because when they take the magnetic letter off, I put my magnetic letters away, I should have kept them out. They feel the shape of the letter. They feel the curves and the lines, and they're internalizing that shape. So these are super cool, though. They're from Lakeshore. The only thing I don't like is that they extend, and that's sometimes a problem. Sometimes I will switch back to my homemade ones just to eliminate because if you're a smart 4-year-old, you do this, you cast, and because of that weight on the bottom, not a good thing. But I do like to start the year with just magnetic letters for fishing, and then we can move to letters written on shapes. They have to be able to, in my opinion, they need to be able to touch, to feel the shape of that letter, to start internalizing those shapes. That's what's going to help them learn the letters of the alphabet. What else do I have? Oh, my books. Oh, I have my I Spy bottles. So these are, you know, those little lacing letters. And I have lots of stuff that I put out here later in the year. I like these for the beginning of the year because they're completely contained within the bottle, right? They shake it and they look for the letters. So you can give them a name card, like I see a G right there. They can shake it. You could put inside, you could put rice, whatever it is that you want. I used these plastic poly beads because several years ago I learned about they sell these at the craft store so that you can make your own stuffed animals or bean bags or whatever. And I really like them because rice leaves residue on the items. So and eventually it will make the items all dingy and dirty and dusty inside the tubes. And these are clean poly pellets, but you choose what you want to put in your bottles. And then I hot glued the lid closed. I prefer packing tape though these days, not packing tape, duct tape around the top, because when they are dropped directly on their lid, they do break. This is a Voss plastic water bottle. Hey, Candy. Yeah, I could glue those fishing poles, Debbie. That's true. That's a good, easy fix. I have a post about alphabet bottles at PreK Pages. I don't know where it lives, but it's there. And so they love these. And these are a little noisy, so you have to decide if that's something you want to deal with in the beginning of the year or not. But they love those. And then this one, you kids, this one they like, but I don't know that it facilitates my goal of learning letters. It's just more engaging. So it's just engaging because they like dinosaurs and they like to stick things together and they're very excited and interested in these, but it doesn't encourage them to feel the shape of the letter. Do you see? And plus it's matching upper to lower. So I definitely would not put this out in the beginning of the year because matching upper to lower is much, much harder than matching the same case to the same case. So I have those, but I wouldn't put these out at the beginning of the year. And then I have my books, and these have, you can see there's a label on them. It says ABC books. And then I have some of my favorite titles in there. Tom is going to drop a link to my favorite alphabet books, book list, if that's a thing, so that you can have that book list too. So if you want to pin that book list or whatever it is you want to do with it. So far we've talked about the Chicka Chicka Boom Boom Tree, the Puppy Chow game. I have, the alphabet materials list. So some of the things I talked about tonight, I have on my materials list. So Tom will drop a link to that in the comments below for you, so that you can have that materials list too. So I would probably, if I were you, would pin them all to the same board. And then, I know, the book list, and then my center signs. So each of the centers, I need to update this photo, but each of the centers in my classroom has one of these center signs, and there is a picture for the children, and then the words are for the adults. And so this one says, we are reinforcing letter formation, learning to recognize and name upper and lowercase letters, practicing visual discrimination, learning letter sound correspondence. But these are editable, so you can change the words and add your own photos. So I take a picture of the center when it's clean, and that helps the kids with cleanup too. In addition to having the labels on the ends of the tubs, this is what a clean center looks like. And then the words are for any adults that are in the room, whether those adults are there for open house if they're parents, whether those adults are specialists, whether those adults are your co-teachers, whether they're your supervisors or your principals, your directors. They just let them know, because sometimes in early childhood, when somebody walks in, it can look like we are, quote unquote, just playing, but you and I know much, much better than that. And so we want to remind the other adults in our classroom of the same thing that our children learn through play. And that's what these do. So I have a whole set of these in my store. Tom will drop a link to the center signs for you below. They're editable, so you can change the words and you can add your own photos. Soon these will be updated and upgraded, so we're excited about some of the new features we're adding to some of the products. So I think that's everything. Let me go through the comments. They've been coming in really quick, so I probably missed a lot of them. I know every time you say editable, you think edible. I totally get it, and I do the same thing. It's not a real word. It's like a word that exists in our field, you know, in the childhood or teaching field. It's not a real word. Like if you put it into a doc, it doesn't always. Susanna says she's going to check out the rocks. She's in the UK. You should be fine, girl. Yeah, they have them there. Yep. Let's see. I found some alphabet pebbles on Amazon. They look like the ones you showed earlier. But are they affordable, Rita? And do they sell them in the US? I was not able. Hey, Vanessa. Angel made some of those I Spy bottles. Let's see. Oh yeah, I gotta glue those fishing rods. Let's see. You found those exact ones at a thrift store. Ooh, thrift store finds. Oh, and it's Naomi. I thought it would have been. We have a tribe member Amanda, who is the thrift store queen. Yeah. All right. Okay, guys. So I hope that you got some ideas that you can take back and use in your classroom to help set up an alphabet center for your students to make learning fun and engaging. We want those kids to want to come to school. We want them to love learning, and we want them to be excited about learning letters. And so this is just one way we can do that, by providing some engaging activities and materials for them, some hands-on things, because that's how young children learn best. Oh, I also have the letter locks here. These are also from Lakeshore. I don't put these out at the beginning of the year though. They were sitting out and I thought I would show them to you, but they're not for the beginning of the year because they're looking at the letter sound and they're matching upper to lower, and it's all these more advanced things, but they are super cool and the kids do love them because there is a key for each lock. Super cool. You want to check those out for later in the year if you teach kinder. Hey, Renee. Oh, I have a lot of info about centers. Every program is a little different, but you can see all the ones I have over on the blog at PreK Pages. When you get there, just click on Learning Centers. How many kids can play with each bucket? So there is no rule about how many kids play with each bucket. I don't restrict that. And with fishing, there are 4 fishing rods, so got to figure out how that works, right? The other ones, as long as it's not a problem, then I don't have a problem with it. All right, guys. I am located in Dallas, Texas, Debbie. Awesome. Candy says, my classroom is so fun that they cry when it's not a school day, I'm told. Yes. That is exactly what we want. I used to have this mom many, many years ago. This child is probably now an adult. And she used to call me on the days when we had like teacher in service, and she knew we were there. She would call the school and say, I need to talk to Mrs. Levin. It's an emergency. And they would put her through. They would say, Mrs. Levin, sometimes we'd be having training or something. Mrs. Levin, you have a phone call in the office. And they'd be like, oh, okay. And I would go down there and she would say, can you tell him that there is no school today? He does not believe me. And she would make me get on the phone and tell him. Now I usually, because I knew he was like that, I would prepare him in advance, and I usually tell the kids, there's no school on Monday or whatever, and we do the calendar and all that. But this particular child would blame his mom, and she would get so upset, and she would say, he's insisting we go out and wait for the bus. You tell him. It was so funny. But yes, that's what we want, Candy. Exactly. So yeah, awesome. I want to thank everyone for stopping by, and don't forget that you can share this broadcast in any way that you see fit, and I will see you again next time. Thanks a lot for watching. I'm Vanessa Levin from PreK Pages. Have a great night.